What's up, guys? It's Jonah, and welcome back to IMO, your one-stop shop for the correct opinions on the biggest storylines in sports. Let's get it. First up this week, we've got Kyrie Irving, the incorrigible superstar who got traded from Brooklyn to Dallas after failing to come to terms on a contract extension with the Nets. The blockbuster deal capped a tumultuous tenure for Irving in Brooklyn, where the 8-time All-Star generated countless headlines with his chronic unavailability and multiple self-induced controversies. But get this, within days of arriving in Dallas, Irving was sounding off about his former team, saying he felt very disrespected at times in Brooklyn, and adding that he wanted to be in a place where he celebrated rather than just tolerated. Seriously, man? You spend almost 4 years causing endless headaches for the Nets, and then have the audacity to claim they didn't show you enough respect? You essentially went out of your way to be a liability, and it's frankly amazing that the Nets tolerated you as long as they did. Look, injuries are one thing, and I'm not going to rag on Irving for getting hurt, but injuries were only a part of his chronic absenteeism. In parts of 4 seasons with the Nets, Irving appeared in less than 52% of Brooklyn's regular season contests for a laundry list of bogus reasons, including his refusal to comply with COVID-19 vaccine mandates, and, most recently, for promoting an anti-Semitic film that earned him an 8-game suspension. And whether he was available or not, he was always a headache and a perpetual PR fire to put out. Between his infamous flat earth remarks to sharing content from conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, Irving seemingly relished being a distraction. Too bad there aren't any conspiracy theories about why playing defense is actually good. Maybe that would have motivated Kyrie to hustle back. Anyway, it's laughable that Irving would say he felt disrespected during his time in Brooklyn, but it also epitomized how self-centered he is. Irving was as unreliable as a player can be, controversial to the point of being contemptuous, and then gets upset that he wasn't treated well enough. Ridiculous. Next up, we've got LeBron James, who is now the NBA's new scoring king after surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Tuesday night in Los Angeles. His historic night was as rich with pageantry as it should have been, and in claiming basketball's most hallowed individual record, LeBron further bolstered his greatest of all time credentials. Still, the most interesting soundbite of the night had nothing to do with the record. When asked about his future after the game, LeBron had this to say.
I feel like that's what I can still do for any group of guys, for any franchise. I can go out there and still help win multiple championships or win a championship. So,
did you catch that? For any group of guys, for any franchise, I can go out there and still help win multiple championships or win a championship. Can he though? I don't mean to speak ill of the king, but the Lakers' ongoing woes would seem to be evidence that LeBron isn't capable anymore of elevating any group of guys into a championship caliber team. Hell, Los Angeles didn't even come close to making the postseason last year. And barring a major second half turnaround, the Lakers are going to miss the playoffs for a second straight season. Now, is that LeBron's fault? Of course not. He's still averaging more than 30 points per game, which is nothing short of miraculous at the age of 38, and LeBron remains one of the game's most dangerous players with the ball in his hand. But as prolific as he remains in the scoring department, he just doesn't dominate the entirety of the game like he used to. Back in 2016, for instance, when he carried Cleveland to a championship, the Cavaliers outscored their opponents by 11.4 points per 100 possessions when LeBron was on the floor. Back in 08-09, when he propelled Cleveland to a franchise record 66 wins, the Cavs outscored their opponents by more than 15 points per 100 possessions when LeBron was on the floor. This year, however, the Lakers' differential with LeBron on the floor is just 3.4 points per 100 possessions. And again, that's not all on him. But it's nevertheless clear that at this point in his career, LeBron can't single-handedly will any group of guys into the playoffs, let alone turn them into a championship contender. And in order for LeBron to add another championship or multiple championships to his resume, which he believes is still a possibility, he's going to need a solid supporting cast around him. Last up then, we've got New York Mets owner Steve Cohen, who poured roughly $500 million into his roster this offseason and couldn't care less that the rest of the league is upset about his free spending ways. In response to murmurs of discontent among his rival owners, Cohen recently told ESPN's Jeff Passan, "I've heard what everyone else has heard, that they're not happy with me. I kind of look at that like, you're looking at the wrong person. They're putting it on me. Maybe they need to look more at themselves." And you know what? He's right. There's absolutely nothing stopping any team in Major League Baseball from spending aggressively in free agency and fielding a 9-figure payroll. Almost every team is owned by a billionaire or a billion-dollar corporation, and league-wide revenues have rebounded and then some since COVID, with MLB collectively generating a record $10.8 billion in revenue in 2022. Even for quote-unquote small market teams, between the league's revenue sharing arrangement and the gobs of money coming in via national broadcasting deals, the money is there. Some owners just choose not to reinvest that money back into their teams, and then they try to villainize Cohen for having the audacity to actually try to win a World Series. Sorry, it's not Cohen's fault that the Oakland A's are set to field a $40 million payroll in 2023 when their owner, John Fisher, has a net worth of $2.5 billion. It's not Cohen's fault that the Milwaukee Brewers spent less than $5 million on free agents this winter when their owner, Mark Atanasio, has a net worth of $700 million. But too many owners would rather cry poor than be like the San Diego Padres. After all, the Padres play in one of baseball's smaller markets and have historically been one of the worst drawing teams in the National League. But then, a few years ago, they just started spending. Last season, in fact, the Padres had the 5th highest payroll in the majors. And guess what? They went all the way to the NLCS. Imagine that. Simply put, there are owners who are willing to spend what it takes to be competitive, the luxury tax penalties be damned, and then there are those who couldn't care less about winning or losing, who are content to trot out lousy teams year after year while their franchise value continues its inexorable rise. And if you happen to be one of the latter, the least you can do is shut up and count your money while the Mets win the World Series. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have takes about our takes, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button. As always, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time.